All right, I hit the button. We are now officially live. I got canceled on for the first episode of the Homesteader series that I wanted to display. And I understand that because sometimes homesteaders, you have your day planned out and something happens and it goes in a completely different direction. So I'm doing the exact same thing. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do tonight, but I'm still live and I'm here with a good friend, Raina.
What's up, everybody? I see that we got awesome. The red live in the corner like my shirt, so it feels good to be alive. And Chris, it is an honor to be on the first ever episode.
Awesome. So it's completely off the cuff since it was not what I had intended on doing today, but I was talking with Raina on Instagram earlier and looking for suggestions on whether or not I should do this, and we just said, let's do it. So we're here.
Listen, the world is what you know sometimes, but if you flip around no, that spells on.
Right.
And that just means that it's an opportunity to do something greater. Don't ever stop. Just keep going.
Exactly. Well, you living out here in this lifestyle, you have no choice but to keep going, because if you don't, you starve and die. So
I hear that.
We do what we got to do and keep pushing forward, and hopefully we get some people popping in here with some questions, but otherwise me and Raina are just going to start talking some stories, and hopefully everyone enjoys it.
Yeah. Before we tell the friendship journey of Chris and I would like to point out that when he told me like the person canceled on him, and I was like, I'll jump in. I actually had to jump in the shower in order to get on this call. And when I texted Chris, first I was like, yo man, like I'll be 20 minutes, which 40 minutes later, don't ever listen to a woman who says that she's only going to be 20 minutes. I'm sure that's true on the homestead too, right?
Well, yeah, anything you plan on doing here, double it and add 2 hours, and that's how long it's going to take.
Oh my God. And then Chris, tell them what you texted me when I said I'm hopping in the shower. What was your response?
What's a shower?
What's a shower?
Sometimes you don't get one around here. Sometimes you're working till the sun goes down and you're just so beat that, the thought of actually putting forth the effort of jumping in the shower is more exhausting than actually doing it.
Oh my Lanta. I've never experienced that kind of hardship, but let me tell you, I live in South Florida, and in the summer, you take 2 showers, and I'm not talking about the rainstorms that happen all summer. Florida in the summer is not like the background of your computer screens, people.
No, it's not. You guys have a lot of humidity out there too, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Well, see, we're dry as hell out here, and we're in our windy season right now too. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll get wind that blows out here that rivals a hurricane, and it's nuts, and it's insanely consistent. It'll come in right around 1 o'clock and just blow until like 4 or 5 o'clock, with sometimes upwards of like 40 to 60 mile an hour gusts, and it makes me want to just pull what little hair left I have out, because I would rather be a torrential downpour and working outside all day than be windy, because the wind just makes everything 10 times more agitating and difficult.
So basically what you're saying is women are like windstorms. You never know when we're going to hit or how hard we're going to go.
Oh,
look me in the eye.
You said it, not me.
Hey,
Rodolfo.
What's up?
My kitty wants to go outside. Sweater.
What's that name?
Well, all my animals have like 5 nicknames. Her original name was Ange Jr., and then it turned into Baby Jeters, and then it turned into Jetter Cheddar, and then Jetter Sweater, and now it's just Sweater.
Jetter sweater. Oh my God. And now it's just sweater. That would suck. That's a good thing you're on the homestead, because if you had to get that embroidered on an LL Bean bag, it would take up like the whole back shot, the next one.
Oh, it's funny. And then we have we have 3 cats. And then one of our other cats, his name is Beef. His original name was Phantom because he hid in the shadows and just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then he became the biggest of all our cats out of that litter. And I started calling him Beefy. So now his name's Beef. So now for a while there, we had Beef and Cheddar.
Beef and Cheddar. That's amazing.
So, and then our other cat, her name is technically Ludo because she looked like Ludo from the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
The movie, and literally looks just like her. The same smile with the teeth, everything looks just like Ludo from the Labyrinth. And she was kind of rude when she was a kitten, so we renamed her Rudis. And so now she's Rudis, but she's our fuzzy little princess.
Oh, I love that. So do you have any plans to like name your future children 5 different names?
You know what? Our kids didn't really end up with 5 different nicknames. It's just the animals.
That's awesome. I love that. So let's tell the future listeners how we met. You started, and then I'll go, and then you go. Or you want me to start?
Well, I can start, I guess. I mean, for me, that day was a whirlwind when I got on a call with Gary V and he lit the fire under my ass. Well, I guess it was already there. He just stoked the fire and blew up my YouTube channel. And I got an overwhelmingly amount of love and support from everyone out there in Gary V land. And it took me, I'm not messing around, it took me probably 8 hours to return. I literally returned every message I got personally. It was over 850 messages, and I wrote everyone back. But out of those, there's been just a few connections that, have kind of stuck, and we've continued to chat since that day. Raina is one of them, and there's a few other people out there, and they know who they are because I still talk to them every day. So I guess that's the short version, but Raina is super inspiring and super uplifting, and her content is amazing. Like, if you're feeling down on yourself for the day, check out her stuff. She'll get you right back up.
That's awesome, Chris. Thank you for introducing me as that. I have to get better at not interrupting people, and I'm so glad that I didn't interrupt you there because I was like, oh wait, he's saying something really nice about me. I really appreciate that. So before I ask you a few questions about that experience, I just want to share for the future listeners, my experience was I saw this dude with a beard get on Gary V. Which, if you're not on Gary V yet, if you stumble across this video, check out Gary Vaynerchuk. He's just an incredible wealth of knowledge. And I was watching the tea with Gary V, and I saw this dude, Chris, with the beard get on, and the conversation was just so inspirational. I was like, dude, I got to follow this guy subscribe to his YouTube. I got to follow him on Instagram. And since then we've been in touch, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Chris, let's go more into the, you get all these messages, and then what was it like when you, as you said, you only got 4 people who stuck around from that growth? Can you talk about what that was like, and then what the experience has been like with these 4 different people? And we'll talk about me last.
It's been really good. Like, the people I've reached out to are reached out to me that we've currently stayed in contact with each other. It's insanely different walks of life. One guy is like a spiritual, inspirational kind of speaker, kind of like Gary V, but more to the religious side. You know, and I've had people reach out to me to like help me with my channel art and stuff like that. And, you know, a bunch of people wanting to be super helpful. And then the few others, you know, it's almost like daily chats, whether it's one message or 5 messages, you know, just at the very least, like, hey, keep at it, you know, stick to it, you know, keep doing what you're doing, you know, you're going to do great, and so on and so forth. And, you know, other people that like want me to be a part of their show or share the story because of the same thing that I guess that happened to you. You saw some inspiration there and joined, and they were kind of the same way. And they're like, you know, I want you on my podcast, and I want people to hear your story. And to me, it's kind of mind-boggling weird, because this is the life I live in. It's normal to me, and I'm like, why are so many people so, you know, excited about how I live and find it so interesting and so on and so forth? Because to me, it's normal. But then I got to think like, well, I'm not fucking normal. You know, and a lot of people out there live in cities and, you know, have never really lived. Fuck, there's some people who've never even gone camping.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess my life is kind of like a full-time, like your full-time camping, I guess.
I mean, people know nowadays that reality television is fake. So it's almost like you give people who are interested in like seeing another perspective through the, you know, the authentic viewpoint. And just know that consistency compounds. I'm speaking to you and to me, brother. We just got to keep at it every single day. And through that, you know, we build a community and a movement.
Right.
So like for people listening, the first biggest thing that came from the Gary Vee community was you got people who were really encouraging and inspiring and in that growth mindset. What have been things that you've implemented that like some of these people have suggested to you? If any.
Implemented. What's that?
I was gonna say, if any, or maybe like it inspired another really like cool idea you had.
Like, so much happened that day. It's almost hard for me to say like what I came up with and what people suggested to me, because it was just so much all at once.
That's amazing.
But you know, more than anything, it's just, you know, staying motivated to create the content, because sometimes I'll get in a rut where I just need to get work done, and trying to have that camera right there and move the camera around and, you know, think about, you know, making content sometimes doesn't work when something has to get done immediately, which, you know, is still going to always be an issue. So trying to deal with that and figure out how to maintain the content while still getting the work done, I think, is probably one of the biggest challenges. But I think the biggest thing from everyone else is just, you know, staying motivated and staying in a place of positivity.
Yeah, that's so important, especially with everything going on right now in the world. Yo, so I don't speak photographer, but my brother Drone Exelbeard, Drone EXELBIERD, always got to support my family and my friends. He used to be a big like GoPro person. Now he's like super into the drones. Couldn't you potentially wear like a GoPro on you and then just do your stuff?
Oh no!
What happened? You're right.
You went full-blown robot voice on me. Lost your audio.
Oh no! I'm out. Yes. No.
Hey, Daisy, will you shut the door on that? It is disastrously hot in here.
Is that better?
Okay, well, shut it all the way.
Is that good? Chris?
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
No. Well,
Full blown lost you, Raina.
That's all right, my friend. There'll be more shows. I'll be there to support you. When one grows, we all grow, dog.
You're kind of there. It keeps freezing up.
It's like my dating life. It's kind of there.
Damn it. Oh. Everybody else, did Raina freeze up on you? Throw it up in the chat. Because I lost her audio. I cannot hear her, and she is frozen on my end.
Oh,
Can you guys still see and hear her? Anything. Man. These damn interwebs right now. Totally lost. Raina, are you still there? I might have to have you sign out and sign back in, which it looks like that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Are you back? There we go.
Yes, who's back? Back again. So you talk about motivation. Number one, your first guest canceled on you. Number two, the internet went out. You know, you and I both thought for a second, like, should we end it? Is it over?
Well,
but no, we are fighting.
Perseverance. You did exactly what I was going to suggest to him. Like, I'm going to have to tell her to get out and come back in. That usually fixes the issue, and you were already on it.
Well, you know, if the homestead life, you ever get sick of it, you could be like one of those, what do they call them? Like technology officers. My friend used to make so much money working in an office telling people like when to, like how to service their computers. And 90% of the time, every time somebody would call and be like, yo, we got a problem with blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, okay, restart the computer and then call me back if you still have the problem.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I later this year I'm coming out with a book called Conversational Wisdom, and in one of the chapters I talk about this conversation I had with a handyman, and his advice was, "It's always the most simplest fix." What do you
Occam's razor.
That?
Occam's razor. The simplest solution is almost always the answer.
Yeah. He was telling me if the light doesn't work, unscrew it, put another one in there, you know, before you rewire the damn thing, like actually like simplest fix.
Right. Every time.
Yeah. So for those listening, like for everything to change, you don't have to do like anything real big. You just small changes, simple fix along the way, which Chris and I have been like the last 2 weeks. A little bit more content, a little bit more content.
Sometimes it's hard. It's hard, but you know, you just gotta keep pushing. Just gotta push. And speaking of pushing, I think I need a haircut. I got the Einstein going on.
You and every other person in this country. Walmart, there was an article this week where now we're in the week of hair dye and nail clippers.
Right? Hair dye and nail clippers, huh? I'm sure there's a lot of bored people out there right now. Really, really fucking bored.
So this is my homestead.
Oh, Kitty. Hi, Kitty.
Say hi to the viewers. So do you think he looks like this picture behind me? Right?
In the face shape, but not the color.
Yeah. I got this from a 10-year-old in Canada. It was his first ever commission piece.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know, so we can inspire business owners at all ages.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I started my first business when I was 8 years old.
Oh my God, what'd you do?
I sold I collected, breeded, and sold night crawlers.
Night collars?
Yeah, worms for fishing.
Oh, I never heard of such a product. Tell me about it.
Night crawlers? You've seriously never heard of night crawlers? Are you shitting me right now?
Oh, like the what you put on like the end of the like as bait.
On the hook. Worms.
Oh, dude, listen, at first you said crawlers. I was thinking of like those gummy worms they sell, when you're about to check out at the grocery store.
Right. Right. And looking back on it in my past, like I was 8 years old, and on the weekends, my dad would take me out on the highway at like 5 o'clock in the morning and drop me off with my bucket of worms and my sign and my cash box on a highway pretty much in the middle of the nowhere and leave. I didn't think about it when I was a kid, but in the back of my head, I'd like to think that my father was just parked down the road a few blocks, but I don't know.
That's like when your parent like throws you into the pool before you've like ever known if you could swim or not. But what do you remember? Like, I know it was a long time ago, but did like anybody ever give you one time like a ton of money like at once? You're selling them for X, but because you're a kid, they're like, oh, here you go.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because I sold my night crawlers for $1 a dozen, and I actually had repeat customers. Whoa. They came back to me every time because I had the most alive, aggressive night crawlers and the largest. And they're like, I can't even buy night crawlers in the gas station anymore because yours are so amazing.
Did they have beards too?
I would. What's that?
So did they have beards too?
Some of them did.
Yo, but that's incredible. People like stopped buying them at the gas station because they were like, yo, we need Chris's nasty, gnarly night crawlers.
Right. And they were big. I mean, some of them were as big around as my middle finger. Not trying to flip anyone off, but they were just that fat and aggressive and alive.
Oh my God. So $1 a dozen, and then you beat out the competition.
Right. Well, that's why we went out on the highway before the town. That way everyone was stopping to me with my sign before they could get to town and hit the gas stations.
Oh my God, genius. Location, location, location. Right. People, you can get rich from business advice in this conversation, and we're just talking about our childhood.
I mean, I wasn't much different than Gary Vee in that respect too, because I was flip life a year later when I was 9. I was going to the thrift store and buying toys at the thrift store, and then I'd set up a stand and I used my football helmet as my cash box and a little metal table, and I was selling the toys that I bought and toys that I didn't use anymore to neighborhood kids.
That's incredible. So again, it was like all location, huh?
Right. Right.
Well, it was like one of the best card trades, or like a card you acquired one time. You were like, whoa!
What's that?
I said, was there ever like a card that like you acquired that you were like, whoa? Oh no, you said toys. I'm so sorry that I'm toys.
No, but that's funny you say that, because back in the early 90s too, that's when sports cards were really huge. And my age, and I was doing that too. We had a little card shop in our town, and I bought an entire box of football cards, and I scored 4 Deion Sanders rookie cards, and they were worth $200 a piece back then. And that was back in like 1992, 91, 92.
That's incredible. That was my birth year, 1992.
Oh, Jesus.
If I think back to like the first time I earned money, I don't know if maybe this is why like I never worked as a waiter or a waitress, because when I was like 3 years old and I would be going to like the events in my Jewish synagogue, anytime that there was like a catered like lunch for like an event or whatever, I'd always get up from the table when I was done eating and just clear everybody's dishes, because like I never did it at home. I guess it's because I never got money at home. But like literally I I would help like clear all the dishes, and the waiters and wait staff would have like a cup. And at the end of the night, they would put like coins and cash in it. And I would always go home thinking like, I was so rich. Yeah.
Nice.
And then high school to college, I really banked it on babysitting. In college, when I moved to South Florida, I got to work for a luxury babysitting company. Yeah, I got to hang out in places I can't afford to stay in and get comp meals. So that was really fun. And then the only like other worthy experience I'll share with you from college was, Chris, there was this one time I wanted to go to a music festival, and my mom was like, oh, you want to go? Like, you can buy the $500 ticket yourself, get a job. So I'm in college and I go on Craigslist and I see something for promotional modeling. And I'm like, all right, like, let's see if I'm hot enough. And I go to the meeting and it had nothing to do with what you look like. It was selling ShamWows. You know what the ShamWow is? Did you ever see one of those?
I know what the ShamWow is.
For 6 weeks, dog, I was at BJ's, Kmart, Sears. I used to have to get on the loudspeaker of the store. Ladies and gentlemen, lure them to my booth, throw free stuff at them to make them stay. My boyfriend used to tell people I sold mops. I'm like, dude, stop blowing up my spot. I'm like, don't tell them about the free gift. But what I can say about selling ShamWows in a super busy store is that when I first started working with teens, I would call these teachers and they're like, I don't know if like she's gonna pay if the kids are gonna pay attention, blah 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 blah. In my head, I'm like, right. I got an audience. They're gonna be ShamWow, and they were every time.
What was that guy's name who did the infomercial?
Billy.
He started. It was Billy something.
Billy Mays?
Yeah, Billy Mays. Like he did the ShamWow commercials too, didn't he? Because I know he started with the OxyClean.
It was some. Then, I don't remember his name, but what I found out later when I was out of college, I worked for an Israel education organization, and I laughed my head off because apparently the dude who let me Google it right now so we have it. But he was Israeli, and I just thought that was such a hilarious coincidence. ShamWow good. But anyways, I brought up the ShamWow just because it's funny how like all these little experiences that we have through our life end up like contributing to like future business endeavors and like ways of seeing.
Sure.
ShamWow spokesperson. So what would you say in your life is like the most like important lesson you had to learn? Oh, Vince is the ShamWow.
You know, that's a hard and subjective question because I mean, obviously, if you learn a lesson, you needed to learn something from it. So I'd have to honestly say that like every lesson is probably equally as important, whether it's a small one or a big one. They all contribute into what makes you and how you move forward in life, you know, and there's also the flip side of the coin, whether or not you choose to heed the words of advice from that lesson that you learned, or actually even recognize that you learned something from it.
Totally.
So I think they all play a part in building, and essentially in building you as an individual and progressing and growing as we go forward through this life.
Yo, I gotta admit, I've asked that question to so many people. The way that you just responded, Chris, was so beautiful. I never in my life heard anybody respond like from the heart and authentically that all lessons are important because you had to learn them. And it's true, dude. It's crazy how like we rank things, but I love how you put it like a lesson is a lesson. It's all in the journey of life.
Well, thank you. And I'm actually surprised that that's the first time you've heard it that way, because apparently maybe people haven't learned as many lessons as they should then.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be it. I don't know. I'm finding out after talking to a lot of people that apparently I'm some form of an enigma in this life. So I'm learning all kinds of new things about myself because I'm getting input from more than outside myself. Because when I'm here on the farm, you know, me, my wife, and my kids, we interact daily. So like everything's so normal and kind of relatively structured to a certain degree. And then when I'm working by myself, I'm just constantly in my head, internalizing and going through things and playing out like random scenarios that'll never happen, but still playing them out and seeing how I would react to them and react to them in different ways. And then I'll play out the other side of it to see how they'll react. And I'll get into all these weird concepts just inside my head. And I completely totally lost track of where I was going with that.
No, that's okay. It's you know, the mind is like a muscle, and it's interesting because a lot of people, when they think of like being on a farm, I'm sure they're thinking physically of the strength, but mentally you have to be so strong to be there alone. And the more you tell yourself those stories, like you're using a muscle that all of us are now having to learn in quarantine because like we're by ourselves. We got our first question from Walter. What up, man? Welcome to the
It's probably not the first question, but it's the first one that I actually noticed so far, so I thought I'd throw it up there. But it's a pretty sorry everyone. Got wrapped up in the conversation and I wasn't looking at the chat as much as I should.
How many people are in the call? I thought it was just me and you, dog.
There were like 4 or 5 for a minute and then it dropped off. Now there's I think one. I don't know. But Walter wants to know, what would you tell your 10-year younger self? Hold on. What would you tell to your 10-year younger self to be a great person?
Yeah. You want to take it first? Take it away.
Yeah, I'm already got it spinning in my head. I would say to be more self-aware, but also listen to everyone and everything around you constantly. You don't have to talk, you don't have to react, but listen. And if you do need to respond to someone, let them know that you are listening.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. That would progress. If I would have done that 10 years ago, I don't even know where I'd be right now. I had a hard time listening to people 10 years ago. I was anti-authority through and through. And if anyone tried to tell me to do anything other than what I was already doing, I would just walk away and say a few choice words along with it.
Can I tell you something so hilarious, Chris?
Yeah.
I recently have been like, you know how like you work on different skills? It's so funny that you said that listening is this important. How old are you?
I'm 40.
I'm 28. So listen to this. Literally the last couple of weeks, I've been working internally on like, how do I be a better listener? Because number one, I love to read so many things that sometimes I've noticed that when people talk, I'm like thinking about something to respond to before listening to the whole thought, which totally changes the dynamic of the conversation, people.
It does.
Because if it's meant to like come up, it'll come around again later. And I just love that this question says 10 years late, like earlier, because I mean, I was never good at math, but like we're almost at that gap. And it's like, I'm working on it.
Well, then my advice to you is be more attentive and hear all the words that someone says before you're trying to formulate a response to what they're saying, because that last half a sentence could be the difference between, disaster and ingenuity.
Totally. And sometimes like being silent so that like people have that ability to share. Like sometimes like I know I like in my life I've noticed that like if it's quiet, I feel like I need to like speak, you know what I mean? To like fill the air. But what I'm like really starting to learn in these last couple of years is when you don't talk, that's exactly what you were saying. Like it could just change the direction in a whole way you would have never imagined.
Sometimes being silent and listening says more than actually speaking.
Yeah, totally. It's an important skill. It's very underrated. So for me, oh no, go ahead.
No, I just got feedback.
Yeah. What's they said? Oh, you meant feedback from the computer. I thought you meant in the chat. You got feedback.
Yeah. Okay. That's better now. It went like old robot voice there for a minute.
Oh no, not again. Are we good?
Well, no, it was kind of more like District 9 alien sounds.
Oh man, I knew I shouldn't have given my cat wet food today, making alien noises.
Oh no.
So for me, what would I have told myself at 20 to be a better person is that people are always going to remember how you make them feel. So kind of like going in with what Chris was saying about listening, people are never going to remember all the stuff that you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And definitely being a better listener is like a sign of a good leader, but also a sign of a really good friend. Hi, you really live in New Zealand? That's incredible.
I believe you came over from Mike's channel. I remember answering some of your questions on his live. Awesome. I'm going to have to get together with my mother-in-law and make some videos and in some way get you two to connect because she's a crocheting, knitting genius, and I think you two would hit it off. So
that would be awesome. My new friend,
got to make some sort of connection there for you.
Yeah, two. I don't know your name, but Chris and I were talking about before the call how like of these people from the Gary Vee community who connect with each other, like we should have like some secret like super club where like we're growing every day. We know what we're doing, but we're just like we're on the same wavelength. So thank you so much for taking the time to join the chat.
Right, for sure. And you are an insanely fast typer.
Yeah.
Most call me Kiwi. I got to put that one up. That's awesome. Well, we will call you Kiwi. But you're saying Crocheting is asking who canceled. So I guess for everyone who's in here now, I was going to do the first episode of what is going to be hopefully a long-running series, bringing on other homesteaders from around the nation and interviewing and sharing their stories. And I had my first homesteader lined up, and she canceled on me twice, and I had a backup to fall onto, but they had a very sick goat on their farm and had to go 5 hours to a vet to help the goat. So because of that, I had no one to interview tonight, and I said, screw it, I'm going to go on live anyway and talk with Raina, because we talked about it on Instagram, so we just decided to go on live. And I was going to take questions from all you guys out there watching about homesteading, and while me and her chat. So if you guys have any questions, pop them in the chat, or even better, if you would like to join live and personally ask that question, you can get a hold of me. I will send you a link and we can bring you on live. I know a lot of people are weird about, doing that, but hey, I'm throwing it out there. You want to ask a question personally on camera in the stream? Let me know and I'll throw you a link.
Yeah. Or you can ask us a question about anything. Just the key themes of our conversation. Yeah, we've talked a lot about homestead. We've talked about overcoming challenges, not ever taking no for an answer. Talked about the power of connection and relationships, that two totally different people, walks of life can connect through the Gary Vee community and, share wisdom and experience and ideas from totally different perspectives.
Right.
It would be interesting to see.
We're all people. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off. I'm just as bad as you when it comes to that.
we're both secretly like, yeah. You know what? I'm glad that we're talking about it, because like other people can know, like, they're not alone. We're all working on it.
Right.
Right. But I was just gonna say, it would be so interesting, like, today's April 15th, like May 15th, like, to see where we at and if we are like still being consistent and having new wins with what we're working on.
Right. And it is such a different time right now. Like, for me, obviously, like, what's going on in the world isn't affecting us like most people in like cities and urban areas, because shit, we were already quarantined to begin with. We live in the middle of nowhere, so we don't feel the pain as much. But you guys living in the city and whatnot, like, your daily lives are far more disrupted than what our daily life is and what we do on it day to day. So there's a lot of people cooped up in tight places that they're not normally used to. And so there's a lot of new and interesting and creative things coming out of that. And even just on the short end of it, just how people are interacting like we are right now, because this wasn't common for people, a month ago to interact today. And now so many people are doing this, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it just goes to show that, when we're so busy, we miss out on different opportunities. So I know people watching, most of them don't live on a farm. Chris, what is it like being quarantined on a farm? Do you even feel quarantined?
Oh, you're going full robot on me again.
No.
All
right.
Oh, no, you're coming back.
Are you still there?
Okay, that's better. Your video still froze, but
no.
Maybe. I think your audio's froze now too.
I don't hear you. Well,
I don't hear you.
I guess that's. Bye.
Oh no. Well, we lost her. She may pop back in. Walter, what is your take on meditation or yoga as a healthy lifestyle? I actually used to do a lot of yoga, me and my wife. It's great. It's definitely great for your health. It's great for flexibility, core strength. But unfortunately now I definitely do not do a whole lot of yoga anymore. We just work outside. So I should probably start again, but I don't know. I'll have to see it. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, we lost Raina. She's not coming back, but it was really, really good to have her on. Some really great insights, and she's a super inspirational person. You should probably check her out on her Instagram, The Rose Grows, would definitely, I think I'll throw that in the description. She's got some really good content. If you're ever like feeling down on yourself, go check out her stuff. She'll definitely lift you up. Oh, I've done lives on TikTok. Someone shows up, challenges. Oh, that was a good one. Crocheting around New Zealand. Challenges, no money, bad weather, pests on the crops. Yes, 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 and yes. And we've experienced every single one of those almost every year. And sometimes all of them completely together. So every day is a challenge when you're fighting the elements, weather, animals, a plethora of different things are challenges every day. So there's plenty of those. No money, that's everyday life. We deal with it. We make enough to survive and pay the few bills that we do have. Unfortunately, we just don't make enough to progress forward and start working on some of our building projects that actually cost money. So yeah, no money is a challenge in that same regard as well. Bad weather's not a huge issue out here except for wind. Other than that, the bad weather's usually never an issue. Pests on crops, we had that bad last year. We had cucumber beetle or squash beetles so bad they decimated every one of our squash and zucchini plants. We lost everything. Didn't even get a single zucchini or squash. So and could not figure out how to get rid of them. I was paying the kids to pull every single one of them off there and scrape egg sacs, and we kind of beat them down for a minute, but they came back and they won, unfortunately. Kimberly, hey, what's up? Glad that you popped in and made it. We were talking with Raina earlier and had some good discussion going, but we lost service and she had to fly off. But it's also almost 11 o'clock where she is, so I can understand. Melinda, well, I'm glad you made it over too. Unfortunately, we're coming into almost the first hour, so we might be calling it quits soon. Unless you guys got some questions you would like me to answer. Her YouTube channel. I don't know that Raina has a YouTube. I'll actually... Well, if you want to wait for just 1 second, I will shoot her a message real quick and see if she has a YouTube. In the meantime, Autumn here can grow shops closed, not allowed to drive to buy anything. That is horrible. Do you have YouTube? I am a slow typer. I'm sorry, people. YouTube channel. If I get a response, I will let you guys know. Autumn, I can't even grow. Shop's closed, so not allowed to drive to buy anything. Oh, she does. The Rose Grows. Her YouTube channel is The Rose Grows, Walter. Some people think it's easy lifestyle, but it's quite hard. Yes, crocheting. It's a rewarding lifestyle, but it is definitely difficult. We have our daily challenges, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Honestly, I wouldn't. And Melinda. Yeah, like that's one of our go-tos when we barbecue so much this time of year and all through the summer and into the fall, and especially when the gardens are all popping off. And that's one of our go-tos is sliced up grilled zucchini and squash on the grill. It's good, definitely good. Oh, that and stuffed Anaheim peppers, and we stuff them with salsa and cheese, and grill them until they have a nice crust on them. Oh, that's good stuff. Nothing but tomatoes this year. Pumpkins didn't grow, zucchinis didn't grow, and well, you did better than we did last year. I had 48 tomato plants, and every one of them died. I got early blight on every tomato plant. I actually only got one tomato out of 48 tomato plants. It was horrible. The easiest thing to grow so far, my beard. I'd have to say my beard. That's probably the easiest thing to grow around here. I'm sorry, I had to. In the garden, we did really good on corn, Anaheim peppers last year, potatoes, carrots. We just struggled with squashes. We had a really wet spring last year, and that brought in a slew of bugs and weeds, and because it was a 20-year storm, so we had more moisture than we'd seen in 20 years. So it brought a whole new level of difficulties with bugs, pests, weeds, and things like that. I mean, we had tomato hornworms that were like 6 inches long with a 1 inch horn on its thorax. I mean, or not thorax, on its butt, whatever you call that on a bug, I guess. But they were insane. But other than that, lettuces, kale, spinach, leafy greens, those are all super easy too. Kale, Swiss chard, arugula, all that. When you were doing pretty good on iceberg until my goats escaped and then mowed down all their lettuce. That's unfortunate. But yeah, those were the easiest for us. Hopefully this year is a little bit better on that. What motivates you every single day? Um, I love what I do, and I love my family, and I want us to survive, well, more than survive, but thrive and succeed out here. So I think those are probably some of the most motivating factors. Also, none of us want to starve, so I mean, food's a huge motivation for just about anyone, I guess. Kimberly, how does your wife like homeschooling? I homeschooled my 4 kids, 2, 8, 12, and 14. Would love to see a homeschool baby, or homeschool video, maybe. Hey, babe, how do you like homeschooling? Her words, I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. Kimberly's asking this because she homeschooled her 4 kids, and they were 2, 8, 12, and 14. And that sounds like a huge handful in comparison to just homeschooling one 9-year-old. So, but I think one of the best parts about homeschool is just the flexibility of the schedule and literally what it takes a kid to do in 8 hours in a public school, you get done in 3 to 4 hours homeschooling. It's insane. And they actually learn more personally. I mean, Kimberly, you've homeschooled your kids, so obviously you would, homeschooling 4 kids, you would probably know more so than anyone that you definitely get more work done in a shorter period of time and more quality of work. Oh, here. Plans for going through comments. Naughty goats eating the salad. Yeah, they did it, and that was the first iceberg we had successfully grown out here, and we were just about to eat the first leaves off it. And my wife, Becky, really loves iceberg because she likes to eat her water. So we call it eating water because iceberg has not a lot of nutritional value, mostly just water. But she loves it. And we were just about to actually get some iceberg off of it, and the goats ate it before we could. She was not happy. Okay, crocheting. Well, yeah, you should probably go finish your chores, and thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Appreciate the questions, and it was great to see you too. Thank you, and enjoy, I guess, because you're in New Zealand, so it's the afternoon there, going into evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, this sounds like a good question. If you were an animal, which one would you like to be and why? If I was an animal, oh, God, that's a good question. If I was an animal, and it's one I haven't thought about in a very long time. Hmm. Does it have to be a specific animal, or can I make one up? um, that's a because there's so many good qualities with so many animals, and there's so many bad qualities with so many other animals. I mean, uh, I should have taken this question. This one's hard. Um, mm, I'm gonna have to come back to that one. I'm gonna have to think harder because that's I feel like I have to put a little more thought into that one because there's a lot of animals and the qualities of animals that makes it. I don't think I can answer that one in less than 30 seconds. Uh, Going back to the homeschooling, this is a very good point. Way less stress, no rushing around, no being under the system, and again, schedule. Like, yeah, if you need to leave to go to the store, it's not even an issue. Oh, I can make it up. Hold on. Come back to this one real quick. Flexibility, totally agree. They learn way more life experience too. Yes, I mean, and like chores count as PE. So social studies we can do with the animals, and having conversations with grandma and grandpa next door. And Kimberly, thank you. You're amazing too. I appreciate everyone who's come over from Gary Vee to support us. It has been phenomenal. Well, that makes it even harder though. I can make it up now because now I have to invent a mythological creature that represents who I am. I still got to think about it. I got nothing right now. Blake, do you like to cook? All the amazing produce you grow would make some amazing dishes. I do like to cook. I really love to cook. Um, well, I'm just gonna say it. When me and my wife met, she wasn't the greatest cook, and I helped teach her, and now I think she's starting to surpass me in that arena, and is getting far more creative than I am. But I am definitely the grill master. And if it's meat and it's warm outside, it's going on the grill. So are the vegetables. So, but yeah, we like to cook. Everyone cooks here. So, and yes, you are 100% correct. Our three cats have the cushiest life here on the homestead, without a doubt. They get love. They take naps all day. They can hunt all the rabbits, lizards, mice, anything and everything that they want to, and to probably get treated the best, in all honesty. So I would like to be a cat on this homestead. They got the best life here for sure. Hoo-ah. Hey buddy. Thanks for popping in. It's getting a little late, but we're still here. Yeah, we've done that too, but the wind out here can sometimes get a little too rough to be outside and grilling. So I don't know. But where do you live at? Hua? Obviously somewhere relatively colder if there's a blizzard, but oh, we got our first relative that popped in. Lexus, how's it going, buddy? Glad you popped in. I'm assuming now you guys are following the channel. We were supposed to do a live night with another homesteader, and they backed out, so we just went live to chat with everyone on YouTube. So glad you popped in. Tell the family hi. Tell the girls and little Johnny Dacian says hi too. That's his hand right there. You can say hi, Dacian.
Hi.
There you go. Oh yeah, it's cold up there. I hear you. You get the same wind too, I'm sure. Well, good on you for barbecuing in a blizzard. Yeah. Yeah, that's dedication to the craft there, brother. And I'm sorry. We got frost last night and the night before, but fuck 8 inches of snow. I'm good. Well, we've been on about an hour now, so I think I'm going to wrap it up unless anyone else has a question or two out there that they want to ask before we call it a night. And yes, winter grilling does take a little more time due to heat loss. Hey, thanks, Hua. You have a great night too, buddy. Thanks for coming in. I do appreciate it. Thanks for the questions. All right. Thank you, Melinda. Hopefully next time we will get to do the real first episode of the series that I want to start doing weekly, along with our vlogs and updates on the homestead. So, but I do appreciate you coming over and catching the live. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you everyone else. The support has been awesome. All right, well, I'm going to wrap that up and call it a night, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. Thank you for the questions. Thanks to Raina for popping in and participating tonight. She had some really good questions, insight, and support. Until next time, thank you, everyone. Good night.